All right, this week on Camera Talk, again, got my co-host, Dylan McDonald. We're going to be looking at, again, a classic that I've looked at a little bit in the past, but this one is its own video. And what are we talking about? What are we talking about, buddy? It's the Carl Zeiss Distagon 35mm 1.4. It's the Contax Yashica mount, made in Germany. Later made in Japan, but the made in Germany ones are the killer ones, the most expensive ones, and the one I have. So let's take a look at it. All right, you ready? Let's get it on.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Mr. Dylan. That's right, here we are this week. As the intro says, we're looking at the Carl Zeiss Distagon. Now, not the ZM, the one made from today, which is also a killer lens, but we're talking the one from the 1970s. So Distagon 35mm 1.4, Carl Zeiss, made in, at the time, West Germany, and later moved to Japan. But anyway, this is the baby right here. It's on my Sony a7R II, and I'm going to be showing you samples of this guy. You know, because he's my little model. Aww. The best model in the world you can have. One, because it's your kid, but the other reason really is because it's free. Other models charge money and everything, but this guy is free.
What you talking about, Dad?
Yeah, you're like, says who? I want to make money, I want to get food, everything else. But anyway, so the Distagon 35 1.4, made 1976, went through 1991 in Germany, and then moved to Japan.
Please return to your seats. We will be experiencing turbulence.
And, you know, once it moved to Japan, they built it for a few years, and then it was out in 1997. So, let's dig right into the specs of it. You know, Dylan just decided to leave the set, and now he's up manning the camera. So if the camera gets knocked off or anything, we're gonna have to... He seems to be inching closer and closer to it, even though I told him no. He's only a year and a half, so he doesn't speak, and I'm sure he doesn't understand anything I'm saying. But he understands the look, right? No touching. So, here it is here. It's the, look at the size of that thing, right? I mean, for one thing, it's on a Contax Yashica mount to NEX, so I can put it on my Sony. But it's already a big lens, and I brought some comparisons. I mean, the biggest comparison in quality and everything else is the Summilux 35mm 1.4 from Leica, and you know, if I give it at the base, where just as this is, you can see, even with the hood, you know, I take the hood off, it's, you know, a lot shorter than that even. But even with the hood, it's a much smaller lens. And then looking at like the Voigtlander 35mm 1.4, look how small it is. And again, starting at the base, you know, and that's with the cap on, so even shorter from there. So this is a big honking lens. I mean, it's built like a... It's heavy. I mean, 600 grams or 21.2 ounces. No touching the Leicas, mister. They're very valuable. Maybe in the future you can get them and they'll be worth a lot more at the time. But anyway, the lens itself is very heavy. It's built like I said, like a tank. And it's you know, even from 1976, this thing is, you know, again, it's top of the line. Even back then, it was top of the line. Nowadays, I mean, you can't even buy these things for...
Holy crap!
You can't buy these things for less than $1,000. You know, even something as old as it is. And, you know, again, comparably speaking, even as expensive as it is, that's nothing compared to like this. Which is about $5,000 or $6,000, or what he's playing with there is with the camera and the lens together.
$1 million.
$9,000, $10,000. Don't break that, mister. So, again, 9 elements, 8 groups. First 3 elements are actually floating, and you have one spherical lens in there correcting for aberrations and chromatic aberrations. The floating element, of course, is for correction of aberrations at the closer ranges. Thus the floating element, it lets it fine-tune as you get closer to something. It's kind of like this one, but the Summilux has the floating elements at the back, at the rear of the lens. I know that's quite your opinion, right? But in this one, it's the front 3 elements actually that move when you're close focusing. And you know, again, so it's really advanced for its day. I mean, again, in 1976, these were all things that others were like attempting. At the same time, you know, this was popular. So was the Canon FD 55 1.2 spherical. You know, everybody was experimenting with them at the time. They're really expensive lenses, difficult to manufacture. But the benefit of this one is the definition, the sharpness. It's got great bokeh. You'll see that in the samples that I'm going to show you. You know, it's just like Leica. You know, Leica and Zeiss both have the reputation for that 3D pop. This is a good lens to demonstrate that with. You know, it shows it off well. And same with colors. You know, there's something like Zeiss can pull colors out of things that other manufacturers do okay. What the fuck? But again, Zeiss is known for its colors, and therefore it's you know, something to seek. So great definition, great bokeh, great contrast, even micro contrast, and it gets even better with a hood. You know, if you put a hood on this thing, it's a 67 millimeter diameter filter thread. So, you know, get a decent hood on there. Some of the cons, there's not very many. I mean, it's an excellent lens. So some of the cons may be the weight. Again, it's, you know, closing up on a pound and a half. You know, it's heavy. You know, 600 grams. It's expensive for what it is. Not what it is, but for the age that it is and the fact that it's manual focus. And it's got 8 aperture blades. And those 8 aperture blades don't round out until you stop right down. Otherwise, you end up with a little Ninja Star bokeh ball. But wide open, which is what I tend to do anyway. Wide open, it's good enough to shoot wide open, just like the Summiluxes are and whatnot. But the sharpness across the screen, you know, from corner to corner, really is between f4 and f8 is where you see that come into play. So as always, let me get you a shot at the end of the. This is wide open. The end of the. You know, I'm shooting this with the Canon M50. 1, 2, 3. And you know, it's got a kit lens 15 to 45 on there. So I'm going to show you that. I might as well show you also stop down. So let's go to 5.6 and see what the difference is stopped down. Let me increase my exposure a tad just to get things going here. All right, 1, 2, 3. So that's what it looks like at 5.6. Okay, so that's pretty much really pretty much all I wanted to talk about with this is just how, how excellent it is, for something, made in the 70s, and here we are in 2021, and it's still relevant. It's still just as good as some of the more modern lenses today. And on an A7R II with a 42 megapixel sensor, you should be able to, get some great resolution in there as well, complementing it in such a way, even though it was designed for obviously film cameras, right? So, why don't you come up and sit with us again to kind of wrap up our video. So, so I recommend it. He recommends it, right? Do you highly recommend a Distagon? Say yeah. And also recommend, what else would we recommend? Luminar, if you're going to be editing your photos and whatnot. Luminar AI and Luminar Neo, which is the new one coming out to replace Luminar 4. And so they're very economical. They can do all the same things that Lightroom and Photoshop and Capture One can do, and all the so forth and so on. But they're a lot cheaper. So if you click the link below, you can pick up your own copy for life. It's yours. You don't have to pay any more fees. You don't have to you don't have to do any monthly subscriptions or anything else. It's yours. So I think it's, if you buy it outright, it's $60, $70, somewhere in that range, maybe $80. But if you click on the link below, you save $10. Make a little kickback for me. Yay, kickback for Dr. Scott. Oh no, for you it's daddy. Kickback for daddy. But still, you save on that too. So again, you can get it for, if it's $65, you get it for $55. Say, why not? Who doesn't want to save $10? Yeah. So so that's my recommendation. Also, why don't you support our channel? And I say that because I don't want to let him feel left out. It's our channel. So subscribe. That's right. And how about you help out with that? Subscribe. Yes, he says subscribe. And together we say subscribe. And give us a thumbs up. Because, get that thumbs up going. Woo! Just like that. Straighten it. Straighten it. Ah, he doesn't want to straighten. He says, screw you, Dad. I'm just hanging out. Thumbs up. So we got the thumbs up girls right here. And lastly, stay safe out there. We're still in the midst of crisis here and there that comes and goes and comes back again. And, the COVID world we're in. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh shit, okay. Oh my god.
It's not going away anytime soon. So I guess we got to deal with it. And deal with it the best you can. So stay safe out there, and come on back next week. We'll look at another topic in photography. Maybe it's a lens, maybe it's a camera, maybe it's a technique of something, or maybe some other element of photography, or I don't know, who knows, something else. Maybe we may want to talk about. Am I embarrassing you yet? All right, so thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Here I am,